What's up, YouTube? Funnel Doc here. In today's videos, I'm going to be breaking down all the general elements that you're going to be using in all your different funnel pages. I'm going to show you the ins and outs, the settings, all the different things you need to know so that you can make your funnels next level and seven-figure funnels. See you inside today's video. What's up, YouTube? Funnel Doc here. So today we're breaking down the general elements section. In our last video, we broke down all the overall settings of the funnel, explained everything, how it's laid out, all the good stuff. So if you missed that, go back to the last video. It's going to break down all the understanding of how the funnel's laid out, all the different settings up here at the top, each individual rows, all that good stuff. And today we're going to jump into the elements. Remember, it's broken down into basically your canvas, which is what's inside a section. Now, within the sections are rows, and within rows are columns, and within columns are elements, and that's what we're going over today. You'll see right here, it's also broken down to color. Sections are green, rows are blue, and elements are orange. So to add elements, you'll go right here to where it says add an element. The pop-up window will appear right here, and today we're going to be covering all the way down to order. So we're going to cover all these. There's like about 15 of them. In the next video, we're going to be breaking down order and product elements, and then we'll be breaking down blogs and other elements as well. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Now, first of all, you have your heading, your headline, your subheadline, and your paragraph. And if you remember from my previous video when I talked about styles, these are preset according to style 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you come in here and we pick your headline, and then I go into the headline. Now you can either click on the headline right here underneath settings, and then you'll see it open, and here are your styles. You've got your basically small, medium, large, and extra large, or 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got your top margin. Again, top margin is the amount of space above the actual element. If you go and hover, you'll see there's an orange line that goes across. Well, to get space above that line from something, you'd hit your top margin, this guy right here, you can see move down, but the difference is your top padding. See, if I move that one away, it actually increases the space within the element itself. You've also got your bottom padding here and your left and right padding, so you can always change those up. You can also change these from pixel to a percentage, so you might want a certain percentage, like, oh, I want 10%. And this is good because it will dynamically adjust depending on what device it's on. The next thing you've got is your typography, which are your styles right here. Again, you've got your small heading, your medium heading, your large heading, and your extra large. And you'll want to make sure you've set those up in your styles. If you haven't, again, watch that video I did before on styles and themes. It'll break down all the different things you need to know about setting your styles. You can edit your styles by clicking right here. So if for some reason you don't like where your extra large is, you want it to be bigger or smaller, you can always go in and click edit styles. Now, the other cool thing is for elements, they've always got this override button. So even though you've got all your styles and themes preset up, if for some reason in this instance you don't want to use that, all you have to do is click override. And then and if for some reason you don't like that, all you have to do is click override. So once you click override, you'll see that all the settings for that font will appear right here. If for any reason you want to stop overriding or reset it, you go right there. Now, if you want to know about all these different settings, again, those are going to be in the themes and styles video. I broke down everything that goes into setting up your themes and your styles. And the next thing you're going to look at is your color. This is the color for the actual text itself. You've got your bold setting. So you can come in here, and if I wanted to, now this is already, this is already set to bold because of the theme. But say if I went to another one that didn't have it bolded, I come in here and I could change this, and it wouldn't be bold anymore. So you want to be careful, though, because a lot of your headlines are going to be bolded anyway. So if you wanted to change that, what you do is you come in your settings, you'd click override, and then your weight, you'd want to change that from anywhere from medium on down is not going to have a bold automatically attached to it. So if we go in and we go to medium, and then we come in here, and now we want to say we want to do action and bold that, now you'll see it's red. So that's just a little hint for you to know that if you want to change these guys out, the one thing you're going to want to do is actually go into the settings themselves and then adjust. You'll go to override and you'll adjust your actual weight, and that's going to allow you to use the bold function because, again, anything above medium setting is going to be automatically bolded. Now you can see here I went and I pre-bolded it and then moved it back. That's a little trick you can do to where now you can see, oh, the rest of it's bold and this is bold as well, but it's a different color. So a little funnel doc insight for you right there. Next thing you're going to have are your links. Now, again, if you set these in your typography or underneath your settings, these are going to already be predetermined, whatever you set it up as. But since we're overriding it right here, you can come and choose whatever color you want for your different links for this specific element. Next thing you've got is your icon color, which if you come down here at the very bottom, you have your before and your after icons. So let's go ahead and just set that to like a cool green or something. There's like an off blue green. Next thing you've also got is your text casing. Now, if you have it with a little line, it's just whatever you set it as, it's going to be that. But if for some reason you want it all of a sudden to be all lowercase, you just hit this little A and you can see everything drops to lowercase. You've also got to all capitalized. There you go. And you've got to just the first letter of every word being capitalized. Boom. So this helps out a lot too, because sometimes that allows you just to go through, type out a whole paragraph, or if you're copying and pasting something and it doesn't fit the criteria you want, you can now change that just by coming in here and clicking one of these three different elements. So we'll go ahead and go back. Well, the next thing you have is your actual decorations, where you have your ability to underline, if you wanted to strike through it, or if you wanted to have a line above and below it. Maybe you're trying to frame in a word or something like that. So these are decorations. Next thing, you've got your alignment, where you can justify to the left. It's normally centered, or you can justify to the right. And then the last thing is your opacity, or like your transparency. So if I wanted this word to not be quite so bright, or maybe I wanted someone to be able to see an image behind it or something like that, you can always play with this. And you can see it will go from all the way faded completely out to 100% opacity, where you will be able to see the text just like it is. Next thing is if I wanted to add a background. Now you can add a image URL that's going to be behind this. So let's say, like, again, I'll grab my background that I've used before. Let me get an X-Word. Boom, boom, boom. We use this guy. And you'll see now that appears, and that background is within the headline. So you can see right there. The other thing you're able to do is maybe I want to highlight that. So instead of the image, I'm going to delete the whole image, and maybe I want to frame the word. Maybe let's make this white instead of purple so it pops a little bit more. And instead, we're going to come into this background and we're going to make it black. So now I can specialize and frame right in on that headline, and it allows you to be able to like block in text really easy, and adds a nice layer of different type of texture to it. So one of the examples is maybe you want to have like 3 different rows, and then what we'll do is we'll just grab this guy and drag it down. And that's what makes it so amazing for ClickFunnels, is you can literally just drag and drop everything. So we'll come in, we'll now click on this, but you'll see it's now became the size of the actual font, or the actual column. So we'll shrink this guy down here. So let's get this, let's go here, and then we'll shrink the actual font size so it'll fit like so. And why is that in a line like that? Oh, because of the padding. That's what it was, because we were playing with padding. So now you see I can come in and I can make like a headline. Maybe this instead is going to say like somebody's name or something like that. You know, I could be like the funnel doc or something like that. So now I can come in here, I make a couple copies of it, and now maybe the next person's name, you know, maybe I want to put like an won't drag, there we go. So now maybe I'm going to put an image above that too. So I come in here, I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to pull it underneath, let me put an image in here, we'll go to the little image guy, and let's just grab like one of my funnel doc logos. So bam, now we've got, like, see how it personalized it rather than just having the text itself, which is fine, but it's not very, you know, it adds a level of texture and theme to it. Whereas before, if I just had the funnel doc name, it might not look as cool. You know what I mean? These are just design aspects that you're going to want to incorporate into your actual funnel. So we'll jump into the next element that's going to be a subheadline. Again, that's your presets. This is going to be just usually a smaller text that's going to be used to, a lot of times it's used for something like that, where you're underneath an image or giving more detail on something, but it's not necessarily a headline that's going to take up a lot of room. Its settings are all the same as the headline. We've got the background, the icon before and after. Let's go ahead and jump into the shadow text and the icon before and after, since we didn't cover those on the headline. Now, the next thing I like to do is add shadow text. So we come in here, you click on the shadow text, And you see it gives it a little bit of, and let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit more, but it gives it a little bit of an outline. It gives it some shadow. And you come in, let's make it black instead here. And then below it, we'll move a picture over, you've got this slider bar, which is again opacity. So I want it to be less or more. So we'll come in, we'll change the text, and we'll give it a little bit of a shadow now. And then we can cause the blur. We can make it sort of closer or farther away, depending on, or you can do one of two things. You've got your offset X here, which is a horizontal movement. So you can move the shadow left or right, or you've got your offset Y, which is a vertical movement, will allow it to go up or down. So say maybe I wanted to make it look like the sun was coming from a different angle, and we had like a little up into the left side here. So let's go ahead, move this just a little bit that way. And then we'll move it up just a little bit that way. And now you see it's like, oh, it's got like a different angle the shadow's hitting at. And then, of course, you can come here and you can change the shadow to whatever you want to be. And now the other cool thing, again, as I've showed you guys before, is with these different arrows, whenever they're highlighted like this, you can just click it, boop, and it'll go right back to whatever the setting was before. So say I didn't know it was set at 0, and I moved it over here to like 21, whereas before, I'm like, oh, I don't remember what the setting was before. You can just go back, boop, boop, and now it's right back to where it was before. Same thing with your blur, your offset, and even your color will go back where it started at clear. So that is the text shadow. The next thing we'll be playing with is the icons. Now, these settings are the same. You can have an icon before or after or both. So, but all the icon settings are the same. So once you know the before icon, it's all the same settings as the after. First thing you've got is your picker, which if you come here and click on the icon itself, you'll see a drop down appear. And there's a ton of different icons. I highly advise you to go through here and sort of figure them out. Some of them are going to be hard to find if you're going label, and others will make total sense. So like if I wanted something for Facebook, I come in here and you have to type lowercase. If you type uppercase, it will not find it. So here's all the different Facebook ones. Or maybe I wanted YouTube. Here's all the different YouTube, you know, or maybe I wanted an arrow or a check mark. You know, it's got tons of different stuff you can find in here. Literally, if you, when I'm delete this little guy right here, let me pick again. If you watch this, you'll see how much it just goes forever. I mean, like they've got, see how the little guy gets smaller and smaller? They just keep adding, it just goes forever. I mean, they've even got FedEx in here. You've got all different type of different icons, and icons are great because not only can you use them here, but later I'll show you in just a second the icon feature, so you can use it itself to highlight text or whatever you want to do. Highly recommend using icons throughout your funnel. It adds another layer of complexity that's great, but you'll see it just keeps going. It just keeps going. It goes forever. There are so many icons in here, like literally. You can almost name anything and find an icon in here for, which is just amazing. The next thing we've got is your icon size, where you can make it large. You'll also notice that these are linked. So right now, if I move my icon left or right, the mobile size moves as well. Well, usually you're not going to want, if you've got a 38 size icon here, we come in, we pick this bad boy. You're not going to want the same size usually for mobile. So what I recommend usually is you're going to break that chain. You'll see now it's broken, and now they move independent of one another. So you'll see down here on this side, I've got it. Oh, okay, that looks good on mobile. But you'll see when we go to desktop, I'm like, oh, I want it a little bigger on desktop. Boom. You know, and that allows you, and that's one of the things too, when you're designing your funnels and ClickFunnels, realize there's going to be a mobile side and a desktop side. And a lot of times you need to go in, I'd lay it out in desktop, then go into mobile, because again, like I said in the last video, usually about 80% of your clients are going to see your funnel on mobile before they'll ever see it on desktop. So always make sure you adjust your mobile settings. A lot of times I'll build out in desktop and then go back and readjust everything for mobile. Highly recommend you do the same, because again, a lot of your people are going to see it in mobile before they'll ever see it in desktop. So that is the icon settings. Let's see if there's anything else we wanted to go over here. Boop. All right. Icons, as far as that, we've got our color, of course, and then you've got your left and right margin, which is how far that icon is going to be away from the actual word itself, or how much padding they have. Again, you've got your left side padding, which is on the left side of the icon. And then your right side, if the icon's on the left side, is going to be the amount of space between the icon and the word itself. Same thing goes for the icon after. We can turn those on or off with just a click here. And that is the different icon settings and the actual element for subheadline. Paragraphs are just the same. It's standardly going to be a much thinner font, where usually headlines are going to be much more bold, icons semi-bold, and usually you're going to find paragraphs are just like this, which are a thin font. You're also going to see that they have all the same settings before, top margin, etc. Your different sizes, the edit style, override, your colors, your icon theme, all the stuff's the same. So the good thing is, once you get used to being able to adjust the settings on one type, whether it's headline, subheadline, or paragraph, you'll know all the different settings for all the different text type of elements. So let's add an element here. The next thing we're going to look at is bullet lists. Now, bullet lists are great. I highly recommend using them like on order forms or anytime you just need a list of stuff. And you'll come into your settings here. Again, they've got the standard top margin, top padding, etc. That's all the same. But the thing is, the biggest difference here is the icon list. Now, you can either have a list of icons like you'll see here, or you can actually have an ordered number, which has them 1, 2, 3. The next thing you're going to look at is your bullet space, which is how much space is between the actual icons itself. Let me roll this up. Let me pull this up here, actually. Another thing you want to look at is these arrows. So you'll see right here how there's a space for a row up here. What I can do is I can click it, and now it goes up into the next section, or the next above the next row below it. It just depends on how you've got everything broken down. You've also got those on sections. Elements, you're going to drag and drop those. So let's go back to the bullets. And then the thing you've got again is your bullet space. You've got your left margin, and then you've got your right icon margin, which is again how far the icon is from the actual text itself. You've got the icon size in case you want to make them larger or smaller. Again, we've got the chain link for size mobile. We've got our typography. So we've got our presets for medium, large, and extra large. We've got the ability to override these as well. And then down here, you've got your standard color layout. You've got your case settings. Here you can also do a background. So say I wanted to use a red-black background or something like that. You can always set that up. And then, of course, you'd want to play with your actual left margin on here, so you can slide it in, maybe work with your padding a little bit. So we've got a little bit of left and right padding in here. The other thing you want to know about rows is anytime you see these little slider bars right here, how the arrow you see when you hover over it, you can now shrink or increase the size of the row. So I might want to only have a really small picture. I could bring it like that, and now the rows are a little more even. This one will move this guy over. So now you've got a little better space, or maybe you want your picture to be larger and you want this column to be more narrow. It's a great thing. You have the ability to play with that, and you have the ability to add or just decrease your amount of rows. So the good thing about ClickFunnels is everything's so drag and drop. I could come in here and go, oh, you know what? I decided I didn't want 3 rows. I wanted 4 columns. So come in here, and then I just grab my images and grab all the text. Boom, boom, drag and drop. And you'll see wherever the orange is above it, that shows you where the different element is going to drop. So now if I wanted funnel doc above, boom. Or I wanted this funnel doc to be in here, and maybe I wanted it to be over here, whatever. But you can see how easy it is. And this is one of the great things about ClickFunnels is the drag and drop feature that allows. So let's go ahead and go back into the bullet list. We've got our different orders and stuff. We've got our background. And then the last thing is the standard shadow text like we talked about before, where you see if I add a, we'll leave our background there. But if I roll to the actual text itself and go with like a white or a black, you can sort of see how it adds text to it. So that is the bullet feature. Let's go ahead and jump on the next one. Next one's an image. So you come in, you'll drag this guy, you can drop it in there, and you'll see that it's got a text holder, a placeholder for the image. You'll just click on that. Now, right here, you got your top margin. If you want to add text to it, a lot of times when people are looking at images or they're clicking on it, or for labeling, you'll want to have an alternate text. I really don't often add stuff here, but that might be up to you. If you want to change out the image, you'll come right here. You'll click on that little image icon guy right here to the far right, and then that will open your gallery. I highly recommend, again, you making a folder. Come in, you'll click that, and you'll name your folder, and then drag and drop. You can either click here to upload directly from your computer, or you can, if you have images in another folder, you can just grab them, drag them over to this block, and they'll upload for you. So let's say you wanted to use this CF2 done for you. Boom, it's in there. You've got your ratio. So maybe you wanted to make it so it's more like phone. You come in here and it's going to make it much more long. Or maybe you want it to be more vertical. So you come in here and you do that, or even longer vertical. It depends. This is something you'll have to play with depending on how your funnel styles you're creating. Usually you're going to have it on the dots, which is just a standard, whatever the image is, it'll be that way. But as far as sizing goes, a lot of times you might want to make your image bigger. So for instance, let's bring this image on down here to this guy. Boom. You can see now, if I come in with my width, I can shrink or make it larger, and you'll see this one's on auto. For some of them, you might want to adjust the height. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come in, click here, I'll change this one to auto, change this to pixel, and now I can change it, but you see it shrinks in the vertical aspect instead, or changes in the vertical aspect versus the horizontal. Again, you've got your clear button, so it'll go right back. You've got your fit, contain, cover, or scale down. If you want it to be within a certain container, you want it to cover something, or you want it to scale with the size of wherever it is, you can choose those. Again, in our last video, we talked about positioning. The next thing we've got is lazy load. That is going to do, what that means is if there's a cache of the image where you've been in this page or something, it will pull from the cache rather than loading up a whole new page. That helps a lot of times with you'd be able to get a faster load speed. You've got your quality here. If you want it to be more sharp or less sharp, you can come here and play with your quality. You can resize according to the image width right here. It's the same size, so it's not going to change. The other, wrong one. Yeah, image settings. So you got your width. If you want the image to be clickable, you can come in here and you can actually add a action link or an action or a URL itself, and then it will either like scroll to a certain section if you want it to set for a link action, or if you have a URL, you can put it there and it'll click it and then go out to the actual site itself. You can align it again, center, left or right. Got it. And then you've got your padding, as well as if you add like a border to it, you can come in and you can add corners. You can see how the corners come in, and then you can play with those as well. We've went over corners before in our previous videos. And then the other thing we've got here is, of course, shadow, where again, if you come in, you can add like a little darker shadow. I prefer to have a little less spread, a little more blur, boom. And now I've got texture added to the image. So that's pretty easy to do. Next thing we'll do is we'll delete this bad boy here and jump on into another new element. Let's go with video. So video, what we're going to do is when you come to video, you're going to put your URL here. It accepts YouTube, Vimeo, Voomly, Wistia, HTML, and custom embeds. And once it does, you input a video in there, it's going to actually give you a lot more options. Let me add one of my YouTube videos real quick. All right, so let's add a YouTube. And you see, as soon as I do that, a lot of controls open. So you've got the ability to turn on or off the controls. You've got the ability for it to autoplay. Again, we got our lazy load that deals with a cache option. You've got your block pause. This is the ability to actually pause the video. You can turn that off. You've got branding. You've got in case you want to shrink the size or width of the video, as well as if you turn on, you'll see right here, only works with block pause, text display on override. So if you've got block pause on yes, and you come here and you type something, so it'll be like, I like to put on here, click for volume. So what you do now is you turn on that, you turn on autoplay, you'll have your block pause on yes, and then you've got your click for volume. And if I hit save, the cool thing this does is the video will start up automatically, but it won't be they won't be able to hear it. So this is great for people that might be in line at the store, at the bus stop, wherever, where you don't want your video to be like, ah, and be all super loud because that can be embarrassing. Instead, this is what they'll get. So you can see the video going on in the background here, and they'll be like, oh, I can't hear it. Let me click for volume. And the cool thing is, no matter where the video is, once you click for volume, it resets and starts from the beginning. What's up, YouTube? Funnel Doc here. But you see, we've got no way to stop it because we have block pause on. So we'll go ahead and stop that bad boy. Next thing, you've got your padding, just like always. You've got your background in case, so you bring in your padding. Let's say we'll give it a little top, a little bottom. But now if we come in here and we add some background, you'll see the background fills. So maybe I want to surround it. We can go a little left or right. And now I've added like a cool border. You can also add a regular border, just like the one below it here. You got your different ability to either have it at the top border, bottom border, sides, or all around. So like maybe I just wanted it to be on top. I could click these bad boys, and now the border would be on top only. And you'll be able to see that here. Let's go with the blue so you can sort of see it. And then we'll make it a little thicker. You can see the border start to appear right there. Let's go with dark blue. Boom. So now it's got a border, but it's only on top. So if I wanted to have maybe on this side too, or this side, or you can click the middle and then it'll be all the different sides. You also have different border styles. You've got solid, you've got dotted, and you've got the actual dashed and dotted. And then here's your stroke size, which is how thick the actual border itself is. You've got the ability to put on a shadow, just like we've talked before, with all your different directions. The only new feature here is you've got, of course, your shadows. These are your style presets, but you've also got the ability on this to have an outset, which is outside the element, or inset, which is inside the element. See how it shifts now inside the border, and you can play with it that way. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. I highly advise you just go in here and have fun. Before you build out your funnel, just start playing with stuff, messing around with it, seeing what you can do, what you can't do. You're going to be surprised at the amazing things you're able to do with different elements within ClickFunnels. So that is your video. Video pop-ups, the same thing. The only difference is you're going to have a URL here. And what that URL does, it's going to put a static image. So you might have, for instance, like it might be a thumbnail or something like that. So you might have that thumbnail that's going to appear. And then what happens is when I click on it, the video is going to actually pop up and then play on a pop-up. The great thing on using these, if you have a lot of videos on one page, I highly recommend you use the pop-up, because instead of them all loading at the same time, they'll only load once you pop it up, and it really decreases your load speed. And studies show that anything over like a 2-second time of loading decreases your like potential for people to stay on that page by up to 50% or more. So just think about it. If you're sitting there, 1, 2, like with the way today's society is, we won't wait for that. So again, if you're using a lot of videos, highly recommend using the video pop-up. It's going to increase your load speed time. And all the settings are pretty much the same for all those guys. Next things you've got are buttons. Now, for certain things, like for instance, like on buttons, you're going to find out here in just a second, there is not a shadow option. So the next thing we talked about, the pop-ups, the video pop-ups. The next thing we want to talk about are buttons. Now, let's go ahead and add some buttons here. Oh, I got a little crazy there and went button crazy. So let's go ahead and talk about buttons. Now, the first thing we got is your standard top margin. The next thing is your button text, where you can change this. This is the text. So you'll see it change there. You've also got your subtext. This is the subtext. And you'll see that's down below. You've got your different type of labeling. You've got your what it's going to say when it's submitting. So you can change that right here. You can say, hey, we're processing your order, or whatever you wanted. And then on click, you've got all your different stuff. So you can have it so nothing happens, which I'm not really sure why you'd use a button if you want nothing to happen. But anyway, that's an option now. You've got your go-to, where you can either have a URL redirect, or you can have a custom action link. So you might want this to scroll down to a certain section or different like things. You can put that available here. You've also got the ability to do it in a new window, especially if you're going to a URL. You've got the ability to submit an order form. You've got scroll to, hide or show. You've got the ability to open or close a pop-up. You can mark complete. That's more used for courses, or you can just have automatic redirect to the next step in your funnel. So if you've got like a opt-in page, and the next page might be a sales page, and for some reason you just want them to click the button and go right to the sales page, or the next page, whatever's in the funnel, you can use that setting. Next one, you've got full width. Now, as you see right here, it's set to whatever your font size is. So if I go to override, and again, your button style and things are set up in the style page. So if you come here, you see here's button style number 1, 2, and 3. Again, here's 1, 2, and 3. And you'll change a lot of that stuff here, including like shadows and different things, borders, different things like that. Whereas if I close the style guide and I stop overriding, you'll see that the only thing it has in here once we get past the spacing, which I'll go back to in a second, are your icons. So if you want to add a border to it, if you want to add a shadow to it, you're going to have to go into the actual style editor. Even if you hit override, you're going to see here that the subtext is here. You can add a border. You can mess with the corners. I can make it so that it's more rounded, or I can even separate the corners so that if I want to make it like at the top flat or whatever you want to do, you can shape your buttons. But some of the things like actually adding a shadow, that's going to only be available inside the style guide. So just FYI, if you ever want to add shadow to your button, the place to do that is in the style guide. Now, once you're in here, we'll turn off the override again. Again, if you want to learn more about the override, go to my style and theme video. It'll talk about everything on how to adjust your themes and styles. Next thing we're going to look at is the full width. If you want to go however the width of the actual row is, all you do is hit enable, and now it's the size of the row. You see it completely fills out the row here. So if I was to shrink down the row, so like I want to add the size, you'll see now because I'm adding padding to the row here, the button shrinks as well. But when you turn on that button, whatever the available size is within the row, it's going to completely fill that up. The next thing we're going to be looking at is your side padding, and that is within the button itself, and the vertical padding, again, within the button itself. You've got your different styles. So you saw in the style guide how these were already presets. You got your edit style guide and your override, and then you got your before and after icons that you can add to your button as well. So we can add this little Airbnb symbol on there, and we're going to make it black, and now you can see the Airbnb. We'll break this link so it only is on one size. We can play with the size. Pretty cool. So those are buttons, and we'll go ahead and delete buttons now. We'll look at our next element is a select box. Now, this is just a drop-down menu. So you first of all have different inputs. You've got countries, you've got United States, you've got Canadian provinces. These are really good for if you're using location, or you can set it for custom options. And if you do that, you'll see here, you got your input name. You can add a value to it. So maybe this is a drop down and you have different stuff you want people to order. You can do that here. You can add more options by clicking the add option button. You can make it required or not required. You can change the width of it, whether it's going to take up the whole entire, again, it's set on percentage right here. So it'll take up the whole entire row or 50% of the row. You can have your padding. You've got your inner padding. Again, we cover all that in other elements. You've got your content alignment, if it's going to align to the right, the center, or the left, the right, or the far, the left, the right, the center, or the far right. You got your alignment of the actual input itself. So if I slide that over and it has room, it'll move over. You've got your style. So if you want it to be on small, medium, or large, you're able to edit the style within the actual text. Again, you can override it. You've got your decorations, your opacity. You've got your background color. You can see right there now. So that now if we had it, it would be a drop down. And then you've also got your last thing is going to be your text shadow. And this is just a standard drop down. So if I went in here and let's say I made it countries and I saved this bad boy, you won't be able to select it there. But if I go to it now preview, you'll see our mess, but you'll see now it says United States, or I can click the drop down and I can choose any of the countries that are, out of, I believe it's 194 different countries that are listed. So that, and you see right there, as I started going out of the page, that pop-up set, remember when we set that in the last video to go out on actually when someone tries to exit the page. So next thing we'll be looking at is your audio. So if you wanted to do an audio feature, you can do a lot of different things with this. Sometimes you might want music playing in the background. So what I'll do is I'll go to settings, I'll put the audio file on here, I'll put it on loop, and then I'll come down. If you click on it, you'll see down, this is your visibility. Then I'll hide it. And then what happens now is as soon as the page loads, the music will start playing in the background. So that's something that's cool. I'd keep it like subtle so it's not too overwhelming because they won't be able to turn it off if it's hidden. Or you could have it so that it doesn't loop. Maybe it plays once. Then you can unhide it by going to all here. You've got, again, to only show on desktop and only show on mobile and then to delete. And then all you do in here is you drop your audio file here and you're good to go. It's pretty simple. And then they'll be able to hit play on it. And then it'll have different elements that appear on it as far as being able to adjust the volume and different things like that. So that is the audio feature. The next thing we're going to be looking at, and now you can sort of see why these videos, I'm literally only working on general now, and on the next video I'm going to be working on the products in order form, because if I was to go through all the different elements, this would be like a 2-hour long video. So the next thing are the icons, which I love the icons a lot because it allows you to add different levels of dynamics to your sort of layout of your funnel, you know. So maybe you wanted to talk about, maybe you have an icon, again, you got your icon picker here, and maybe you wanted it to be Facebook. So I come in here, I could pick a Facebook icon, and then what you can do is change the color to blue. So now it's blue. You've got your sizing again with your link, your alignment, your color, your opacity. So maybe I don't want it quite so bright. You can play with that. You've got your top padding as well as you can add a background to it. Now, when you add a background to an icon, it's going to take up the size of the box here. And you can adjust that and play with that with your padding and your icon size. So if I wanted to shrink it down, you can see I can move it around. I could maybe make it bigger or smaller. The other thing you can do is you can come in here right here where it says link action or URL, and you can make your icons so they're actually like buttons. So now if I had this set up and someone came and clicked this icon and I had like, say, a link going to my Facebook group right here, it actually showed that. And if you click inside this, you'll see these are the actual action links. So you can have a hashtag open pop-up, submit form, next funnel step, close pop-up, or you could have a mark in action as complete. And those are the icons. A lot of fun to use, pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. Next thing we've got is a divider. This is basically to divide different sections. A lot of times I like to use it like underneath a name to add a little emphasis or something like that. You're going to have your basic top margin here. Now on this one, your width is how wide the actual icon is. And as you see right now, we're going to center it. So now it's centered. You've got your alignment. You've got your height, which is how sort of thick the actual icon is right here. You've got your padding, you've got your color, you've got your type. So you can do also dashes or dots for those, and you can also add a shadow to that as well. And those are your dividers. The next icon we'll be going over will be your navigation menu. Now, navigation's changed a lot. So you've got now the ability to actually have drop downs. So for instance, if I was to save this right now, we'll check it out. You'll see, first of all, if we go in here, if you want to change different components, you can actually click in here and it will actually go into the actual component. You also got a breadcrumbs at the top. So you can see now it says hamburger icon, hamburger, and click back and it will take me to the navigation menu. If you also want to affect the actual overlay of the actual layout itself, you can adjust that here underneath the gap. And you can adjust all those different settings there. We'll go back to navigation. Now, if you actually want to change your navigation links, you can grab these to the side and move them around. So for instance, I didn't want this blog one here. I want it to be the end. I just moved it to the end so easy. You can also go into the actual submenu for that specific link itself. So you can get really specific with stuff now in navigation. The other cool thing is you can create submenus and submenus for your blog as well as add images to your navigation. So you come in here, you can change the text just by clicking on. When you click on one of these icons right here, or one of the actual navigation right here, the About Us, Shop, etc. If you want to change those out, you just come in. You can change the name of the link. You can change it to going to another page. You can make it an action link or go to URL. And then you can even go even deeper than that. So you can click right here and it'll go into full settings, and then you can adjust all the different settings for that specific link itself. And you'll see right here that we've added on new menus. If I wanted to add a new submenu, I click right there, and now it's got the ability to drop down. And then once you save and refresh, all those, oh, nope, they just took a second here. So you'll see now that they just took a second to appear, and now they've all appeared as well as the different submenus. I can come in here and create submenus. I can actually add an image. I mean, there's so much that you can do now with it. I highly recommend you going in, taking your time, playing with these different guys. Now, within these, you can say right here, as far as your orientation, you can make it so it goes vertical. So there it goes there. You can make it go horizontal. You can change the gap in it. You can make it so that the collapse menu, the ones like right here that have the drop downs, you can make those so that they're right here. You can make it so that they collapse never, which means they're always open. You can make it so they're collapsed on mobile, or you can make it so that they're always collapsed and hit there. So then someone will have to click on it to make it collapse. So you can play with that a lot too, depending on what type of funnel you're using will matter what type of link you're using. You see the added image right here. The next thing is justification. You've got to the left, the middle, and the center, as well as align to different columns. You've got overlay display. You can show that where it'd be like here, where it overlays the page, or you can hide it. You've got your width, your padding, etc. You got your typography, all the stuff we've covered before. This is all pretty much the same, other than line height, which is the spacing between the lines. You got everything else is pretty much the same. You can change a little bit here in your menu gap. That's for the actual menu itself. You've got menu shadow. So if I wanted to add a shadow to the menu, and then we'll say make it a darker so you can see it. We'll make it a little more blur. So yeah, and then you've got all the different stuff that you can do. So then you've got all the different stuff that you can do. You can add shadow, you can create submenus, you can make submenu corners, you can make a border on it, you can do a lot of stuff. I highly recommend you just taking your time, go in there, set up your links, and then play with it. Have a good time. Learn all the different stuff you can do. The next thing we're going to be looking at, we're down to our final 4, is a URL link. That's simply just a link itself, but you have the ability now to be able to go really in depth and actually make that specific link have all different types of settings within it, as well as you change the actual settings. So now it says link, and I can change it to say hi, and then I can make it so that it's going to open up in a new tab. And then I can put a URL here or an action link, and then this link will be live. So if you want to just use a link, and you don't want to go to the fact of what you can do also is if you wanted to not use that and you wanted to use something like, we'll make a paragraph, and then we want to just say this word to be a link. Now this bar that pops up is specific to in here. So if I wanted to make this a link, I then click here. You'll see now this word is highlighted as a link. I'd put the link URL or action in here. I could then also cancel the link. If I click this, it will make it no longer a link. If I click the next button, it will pop up. If I wanted to set notifications on, I could turn it on right here. We'll actually notify when somebody's clicked on that. And if you want to change the color of the link itself, you can see right there. Now it's got a link in it, but it's a different color and it's easier to pick out. So there's 2 different ways you can set links. If you want to create an individual link, you can do it there, or within text, you can do it easily with just the method I just showed you. The next thing we'll be looking at, let's go up here so we can see a little bit more. The next thing we'll be looking at is custom HTML or JavaScript. Super easy. You'll see this bar here. They won't see the bar in the actual funnel. What you do is click on it, and then you open the code, and then you put the HTML or the code in here. Close that guy up, and when you save it, then the HTML or code JavaScript will display, or whatever it's supposed to do will happen on that page. This is really good for embeds, for different things. So like if you have a calendar embed or something like that, this is the elements you would want to use for that. The next thing we'll be looking at are breadcrumbs, which these are basically your path. So if you have multiple layers here and you want to be able to jump around within your actual funnel or different settings in like a course or something, you can actually create breadcrumbs so that they can know, okay, that they've gone from the opt-in page to the sales page, and they go back and forth. And then the final thing we're going to look at today is a countdown timer. So you come in here, countdown timers, you can do an event calendar so that you're a calendar event, so it's set to a specific date. You can do a countdown so that it's set to a specific time and date. This event would, of course, be linked to an event that you're creating. You can do an evergreen. You can set it to monthly, weekly, daily, or on page load. You can also set it so that it will reset to a specific day of the month. You can have it so it'll reset to a specific time. You can set the time zone. You can make it so timers will make an area of your funnel disappear. So if you wanted to show or hide content or redirect to URL, you set that here. If you wanted to show, you just come down, you select what area you want to, like, oh, maybe I want this headline to show, and then when that happens, I want this row to hide. So now what will happen is when this timer expires, this headline would pop up. You'd go in, you'd go to the headline that you wanted to hide, you click this hide in all devices button, so that way it's not showing. Then when the timer runs out, this headline would appear and the row I selected would disappear. So this is one way that you can add like dynamic action in relation to a content or a countdown timer for your actual funnel, which is really cool. So maybe you've got a bonus that you want to disappear and a new one to pop up, or a new offer to pop up. You can also set reaction for visit for reaction. Now, right now, the policy is set up so when the auto timer, when they go back to the page, the auto timer will just refresh. But you can set it so that it expires in a certain amount of days. So after, say, 10 days, once this timer is done, it won't reset anymore. Or you could do it never expires. And that allows it to just continually looping. You can also add in days, weeks, months, and years to it. You can also break down the individual times. So if I wanted to change this time's color, I just come right here and I can change that to whatever I wanted it to. You'll also see that they have the ability for the countdown container. And the cool thing is when you hover over these, it shows you what it is. By highlighting it, it shows you what you're going to be affecting. So anytime you see a gear icon, know that that's another settings level that's going to go deeper into that. So say, for instance, in the label, I can go in here and be like, you know what? I don't like that font, so I'm going to override it. I'm going to make it, like we'll make it quicksand or whatever. And we're going to make this font have a heavier weight to it. We're also going to change the color so it's purple. So you can do that all at the gear icon level. We'll stop overriding that and it will go back to it. Next thing you can do is add a background to the actual label. And we'll go back to the countdown itself. Again, these are the individual ones. So if you want to get really specific on different things on your actual timers, you do that here. These are your inside the container, the gaps. So if you wanted some bigger space between the time and date, you can see there. You have different items, you can space those out. Different times, you can see the actual what it does. Now you can do amount first or label first, so you can move those above, or if you want the timed amount above, you switch that back and forth. Here's your padding. Here's a background color for the entire actual countdown timer itself, so you can change that out. You can add a border to it. You can add a shadow to it. You can add corners to it. So we want to make it so it's more rounded. So you have a lot of flexibility of your timers now. So you can really change those up and make those specific to your brands and your colors. Next thing we're going to look at is, that's it for this one. So we've broken down all the different elements. I'm sorry this video tended to be a little bit long, but there was a lot of stuff to go over. The good thing is once you've got some of the basics down, you're going to find that a lot of the different settings are repeated throughout the different elements. So once you've got the basics down, you will be an element master. In the next video, we're going to be covering all the different elements that are used on the order form as well as in your products. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Let me know if you have any questions down below. And if you want to join the #1 Facebook group in the world on learning how to master ClickFunnels 2.0, that's CF2 Mastery is the name of my group. The link down below is to join that as well. Highly recommend you join. I'm doing live trainings in there. I'm answering questions and just helping everyone to know and master ClickFunnels 2.0. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm the Funnel Doc. I'm out of here. Peace.